Okay, we're at our first stop, William Hines, right? Hines. And so, okay, this is, and I took a picture, but you know, all those really nice looking pictures, I think they're done on a cloudy day, and then they're edited and that blue is put back in, because I'll tell you what, it's really hard to do stuff with the sun shining. So let's look at Bill, what he has. So as long as I shadow it, then you can see him, and you see he was married. But what's interesting, and you have to do this, is run around the backside, and I see that Marge actually picked quite a few guys that were military. World War II. So we'll have to wait and see who's doing Mr. Hines. Last year we did quadratic, and he was the dentist, and everybody talks about how his big old fat fingers were in your mouth and things like that. But at the end, because I was like a greeter, and so I went up and I introduced myself to this woman and said, you know, hi, I'm the greeter, you know, it's like, is there anything that you need help with? Otherwise, it's like, this is the way you kind of go through this. And she goes, I was actually Quadratic's girlfriend that lived with him until he passed. It was so much fun. So if you ever get a chance to volunteer for some things, you just never know what you learn. So on to number 2. We had to stop off here because this is actually a bend down. Here's our little sign, and so as you see, it's on the 7th of September. And above it, it shows the guidelines. I didn't know there was guidelines for when you put things on the grave sites, because that way then when they mow the lawn, they don't run over the flowers and things like that, because they just like zip along right along the front. And never knew there were actually guidelines. So the things you learn. Okay, we're on to our number 2. Okay, we're going to take a seat right here next to my buddy Ernie. Now, it'll be fun to hear some of the information about him. And of course, he has World War I. World War I he has. This was the one that came to Racine at the age of 15, and he had 5 children, and he was a Netherlands. He must have come from the You'll have to come and find out. I'm sure that we'll know more. Okay, because I'm trying to read Marge's stuff, plus, you know. Okay, on to number 3. Vandemeyer. That kind of sounds like... Oops. Well, we won't talk about that because we are in the cemetery, you know. Okay. We'll flip this way. Somewhere out here, supposed to be right over here, just on the other side of this tree. Can I put a shade? No, I can't. There is supposed to be Vandemeyer Hansen, and Maud, I think, is his wife. But back there, just like right there, I think it is, that gray one. Behind that gray one. That gray one behind. There's a Hansen, but it's not the right one, and I'm looking for a death in 33 and 43. Yeah, see why this is, it was so much easier when Marge had these all marked with little flags. She said some of them were hard to find, and it is. They have markers, they have a little map and things like that, and I suppose I could blow up my picture so that on my computer, because I brought that with, and so that I could find them. And I'll do that before I head back, so I can grab a picture of that. But if you're out here looking for like cemetery plots of relatives, you better look to see what's around them so that you kind of have a really, really good idea. I tried to find my grandfather's, and that was at a different cemetery. It was the one on, everybody knows the one on Highway 20. We just know it is the one on Highway 20. West Lawn, I think it is. But anyway, so she's like, it's back by the building, which is kind of fitting because that's what he was, as a maintenance person out at the Southern Colony. And so I laugh. But I can't find them. But Marge will have them by that day. On to number 4. Wait a minute. Remember I told you got to have a picture of stuff? So here I am. I have this one blown up. And it is Mrs. Hans Christensen. So actually, we have, so it would be Vandemeyer Hansen Christensen is actually the name, not. So let's just run over here real quick, because that's what we like to do in a cemetery, give you a break, but that's okay. So this would be our next person. He's sitting underneath a nice little tree. We had a big storm come through here, and obviously you see there's some brush that's down here, and that's what that's from. So these don't have the right death name. So actually, I need to do more research. Note to Shirley, we got the wrong family. Okay, either that or Marge has the wrong family. Note to Marge, got the wrong name. That's what happens. Okay, we're on to number 4. Okay, we found Graham. Oh, this was a tough one. Oh, I'm like following this map, and I'm like, okay, the road is here, so this should be here, this should be, and I'm like, why aren't I following this stuff right? And it's just so hard, because I'm thinking that what used to be a road, this looks like a paved road now. See, there's pavement, and like it wasn't there when the original map was put together, and I don't know. But okay, so we found our Grahams, and you, there's a good story about these Grahams. Something about a library. It's a place I like to visit. My buddies, my library buddies, they would also be my research buddies. Anyways, Barney and Betty, and the sweetest people. So if you're doing research on genealogy and you're looking for something in the library, they got this little room in the back, and it is full of information like you would not believe. So Betty does a great job in there, and so I can't say enough about it. Barney will be out here someplace. He's portraying somebody, so he'll be here. It's if you, I hate to say this again, but if you've never dug into the research in the back of a library or talked to some of the local people about the history of a town, you look at it and you go, oh my gosh. There is somebody that's up by me that is recently passed, Marilyn, and so she was a great person to talk to. I only knew her for a short period of time, only met her a couple of times, because she is very busy, and she told me some things that were really, really fun about Chickville. And so then I wanted to be able to talk to Rodney Olson. I talked to him for just a little bit, and you know, it's sad to say that these people with all this knowledge, they pass. Everyone passes. It's like you end up either here or, you know, we hate to say in a lake, but you know what? Put me under a tree. It's like, cemeteries are not, they're very, very traditional. Some of the headstones have all kinds of different meanings, and depending on which era. Oh, I was out in Boston, and we went to one of the cemeteries out there, and the carvings on some of them. Oh, there is a couple of them that are down there that Marge was showing us that are really pretty cool. So we will have to take a scoot down there too. Well, we're going to go down there anyways, but because we probably have got some people down there. But cemeteries are interesting. There's some, they have this new thing. There's one over there, and they do a picture, and they put a picture of you, so you can do it like when your hair is nice, because remember I always talk about how my sister doesn't like my hair. So okay, we're on to the next person because we found the Grahams. Come out and see what they have to say about the Grahams. Okay, we're out by Merediths. So as you see, they do have are you seeing that mason on there? I don't know what, ooh, that's a star upside down. Must be something, both symbols of Union Grove. So this would be Ernest. We want to find out about him, and I think that Meredith, I think this is related with the Merediths that are in Racine. And but here is another Meredith over here, and so you can tell when there's usually a bigger tombstone. Obviously meant more money, but it could be the, I sometimes find the bigger ones are like a family, or like this one right here. Let's show you this one here. Okay, so even though we're not visiting these people on the 7th, so look at though, they have a big stone for the family, and there's nothing written on it, but then they have the mother and the father over here, and then so Coldwell of England, so they must have been first migrants over here because they died in 35. That would be about normal. And then this one here would have to be children because they died in 65. Oh, they died together in 65. So, and this could be a husband and wife of a, it would be of a son. And so you just never know what you find. Now, where were we? We were back with our Merediths. Okay, so once again, we have, oh, you can't see that. I'll have to take a picture of that. World War II. Okay. Oh, wait. Meredith. Do we have the wrong one? There's so many of them. This is not the one we're going to be visiting. But you know what? There's so many of them that there's a couple of people that are going to be representing these. You could have a husband and wife out here with I'm going to guess William. That has to be a daughter. And there's another one, and it's got a little grave out in the front. And so it was a child that must have passed like right after birth. So on to our next one. So we found Ernest. We have this is the problem. These people, when you're doing research, you come across because I'm doing Zanquetas, so everybody's name is Giuseppe. Everyone is like Giuseppe, and you call him John because that's the Italian version. I don't even think that's right. It could be right. But so as you're looking at this, and you have Italian translation, and then you have a Dominic in there, and then you got a couple of Esthers in there, which are sisters, but also daughters, and because they use the very same common names. Oh, research is it's you just keep looking at it and you keep going, this can't be right. Is this right? And don't be following all those little flags on Ancestry, because some of them aren't right, or some of them, like I got the Esther who is a sister attached to Esther who is the daughter, and then you have to unattach and then bring somebody. Okay, see you at the next one. Okay, we found our mitten. Oh man, here's a top to something. We'll just set that there. Okay, but let me show you something right behind it. So Shirley said something, because my friend Shirley, she does a lot of research on things. I did move the little flowers, these little flowers here, I moved them to the sides so that they're not in the front. And I tried to fix his flag the best as I could, because the little stem is broken and I don't have anything else to fix it. So, but the reason they leave a rock, she said, is so that way the people know that you were there, that you came to visit them. And so she said that in some of the Jewish cemeteries that there are rocks everywhere. If you want to know anything about this, you come out here. Shirley will be dressed in a costume, a period costume, and I have to make one of those, and it's like got the big skirt on it, and so I'm gonna make one. Okay, here we have our mittens, and Minton. Yeah. So anyways, this was a hard one to find. I had to look by the tree and by this and by that, but I found them. So that's Fred, another Fred. See, we got a lot of Freds and nothing on the back of that. So we're just cruising right along here. Our sun is maybe it's going to be more favorable so we can find the rest of these real fast. And okay, Colby. Yeah, Colby. I'm horrible with names. I'm a horrible reader. I'm a horrible writer. I'm a horrible speller. Okay. What I like to YouTube. Okay. So that's why I'm doing YouTubes. I love the video cam. And so that's the way it goes. Okay. we have found our Kobe's. Now, here we have, do you notice on here, we have once again a Mason. So that is, there's a lot of Masons in there. We have a Masonic Lodge. Oh, it's getting a little dark over here. That's because of the tree though. So we could, we'll put the sun back to our back. So let's see what Marge has to say about, oh, let's sit down a second because I'm getting tired. It's a lot of work running through a cemetery. Okay, so where are our, oh, here they are. Page 2. We're getting down towards the end. The last one, the Mittens, the first wife died during childbirth, and so, but had something to do with the university, Marquette University, come find out. He both born in this area, and so one was a teacher and a nurse, and the other one, the mayor. Come find out some more stuff about, you just never know. And you know what? If you see Marge out here, you ask her how many of these are related to her, because the Martins that have the Martins garage, so of course she's, I don't remember how this goes. So we were in 4-H, and there was the Demuse, and the Demuse, I think that's where she came from and married a Martin, and so, because of course, that's what you did. You married people from your school, and that would have been where her husband would have come from. Okay, so the Colbys, we have, I think there's going to be a couple. They were connected with the Congregational Church, and that was the church that was downtown. And this is how I started some of my research, was because where our house is, there's a spot that's kind of towards the end of what would have been Mary Adams' property, which started out to be at Frank Adams, and it was the farm, it was Chickville. And so at this, so like Mary Adams' property would have ended here, and then all of a sudden there was a house with a little cross on it. Come to find out that that was the first Sabbath school, and my sister said you had to have a Sabbath school before you could bring a congregation from the east this way. And I found in a newspaper that Marge had, she had a good copy of it. It was the 100th Centennial. There was an article in there about the Congregational Church, and it said that it was at the fairgrounds, which is just that way. So I live that way, and then the fairgrounds is that way. And so the Congregational Church was moved to the north, which would be that way, which would be on 45, which is where it is right now, from the fairgrounds, which is 2 miles to the west of its original. And is it, oh, I forget what is, ask Betty what the last name is. It starts with an O, the name of it. I think it's the house with the gargoyles that are out in the front. And I think that's the house where the 8 families used to gather together. And so then, of course, then they would have Sabbath school prayer before they moved to an actual church. Well, they had to roll the church from the fairgrounds, and they must have rolled it on logs type of a thing, in order to get it downtown. And then they get it downtown, and a couple years later it burns down, so then they had to rebuild it, and so rebuilt it for $5,000. So you know how long ago that this was. That one day we just need to take like a run. we are going to get a hold of, what is her name? Oh, dang, I hate this one. I can't remember her stuff. But anyways, she helps me with my history seekers too. And she does talks about Union Grove and that. We need to just walk around with her before while she's still able to get out and walk around, because she's getting a little older in age. She doesn't like to drive at night. So, but we'll get a hold of her so we can get a little bit more history and record it and things like that. Do it little a little wild, unscripted, and unedited. Okay, we're going on to our last one. Is it Taber? Taber? Gilbert and Hannah. So we will go find her. Both born in New York. So if you can imagine, in New York, and then came this way, baptized in the Union Grove Ministry Church. And you'll have to find out some more stuff about there. Ooh, there's something else here. They were the first at something. You have to come out and you have to find out. Okay, let me see where the next one is. Oh, I need to get out my map. So we've actually made them all, and we're going to the last one down here. So we'll see if I can find it. I wish my friend Shirley was with me, because she so likes to do these kind of things. She goes, "Lynn, you're crazy." And I go, "Yeah, but you're my friend." Okay, on to the last one. Okay, so here we have number 8, and it's hard to see, and I'm sorry, but as you can tell, he's got, maybe I can cast a shadow on something. That's not gonna work. Okay, so anyways, his inscriptions are pretty light, but it is a pretty tombstone or marker. And so anyways, as you see, that this originally wouldn't have been put on these blocks. This was raised and the blocks put underneath it. Here is it says Francine, that father, mother, and Lucille, Luella, Lula, maybe Lula, I don't know. Remember, I'm really bad at that. But you know, we're looking for a way of being able to clean some of these stones. It's when you look at some of these, because they're all, you know, like carved into marble and that, you know, it's like, but they lose their depth. And so in this one actually it's got some leaves and things like that with the tea, and so they are very pretty, but boy, time just takes it away. And so, oh, here's the one that I wanted to show you. I did take a picture of that. Okay, now let's quick run over here. So let's see if we can see this one. Yeah. That is, it's concrete. So isn't that cool? So we'll try not to step on this guy that fell over. There's one, that's just what happens. It's either, well, this one, obviously you can see that there was a headstone for it to stand on right here, and it fell over. What I learned were that some of it is just vandalism, but some of it is that if you have wooden boxes in there, then they deteriorate, and of course then there's nothing to hold the ground up, and so it just falls into the ground over the years. We had a person that started as a mortician back in the, I don't remember what year, but he came to our genealogy group, and it was really fun to listen to him and see some of his stuff. He really wanted to be out here on this day. There's a second person that's going to be out here. The person from Miller. Oh, I should know that. That's who we bought our house from. Not him, but anyways, he has the funeral parlor downtown, and I found out that the reason that it's called a mortician, let me see, it was the person that did the, I'll have to find that one out for you. Okay, I will. Okay, but anyways, let's take a look at this, and but it is kind of cool. Then there's a second one of these, but you know where you can stick me? Just cremate me. You know what? Throw me in the lake. Throw me in Brown's Lake. That would be just fine with me, with my paddleboard. Okay. I have to get my stuff and get out of here because it is starting to get a little dark, and unless I find something else really, really cool. Okay, here's the other one that I wanted to show you, and I took a couple of pictures of it, so you'll have to, maybe I'll figure out how to blend those in. And so that's kind of, it's got a plant on it and everything. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to show you while we were out here is there is one up in the front that has, just to give you an idea of what technology has gone to, and it actually is on a tile plate, and so that it won't ever get damaged, and so then you'll have a permanent picture of yourself. I don't know. It's cool. It's just what technology has come to. We had a horrible storm come through here, and yeah, as you see behind me, that tree got some damage, and you can see the wood piled up back there. So they had a crew out here of volunteers, and your small town, that's what you get, is volunteers. So they got it cut up, obviously. There's a big chunk on the other side that there was a huge branch that came down. So I'll meet you up at that kind of cool thing, because I've never seen that before. Okay, here we are. This is funny because my boss is named Humphrey, and I had to look. And so Bernice has not passed yet, but her husband has. So obviously somebody came out here and put flowers on it. But isn't that kind of cool? I think it's just kind of cool to be able to have that picture on there. But if you do that for me, so because I have all these obsessions, so my hair's got to look good, I have to be skinny, it's like I have to do this, I have to do that. Just throw me in the lake. Well, cremate me first. What? I don't even care. I don't even care. Oh gosh. Sometimes when you're looking at cemeteries and stuff like that, I guess like some of my friends some of my spiritual friends and things like that, it's not a sad place to come to a cemetery, because these people all did really, really interesting things, because I mean, you got World War I, World War II. You have founders of the town. You have people that did things in honor of one of the relatives. They left money for certain buildings in Union Grove. They've brought families to the Union Grove area that have made this be a wonderful town. I love living here. The people are so nice. And what can I say? It's just, you have to celebrate the life that they had. And so when you come out and watch some of the actors, it's like they want to portray what a life that these people had and how they contributed and things like that. So come join us with our event on the 7th, and we will start it out up at the little house in the back. So you come up the driveway, you can park anywhere, you can stop in the little house in the back. It's not really a little house in the back, they have a word, the chapel. And then get I think Marge is going to have maps, and so you can follow the map around. Of course, it'll be marked, but you've already got pictures of everything, of where all the people are. So you'll see the reenactors, and I'll be here. I'll be filming and just helping you around. And if you need any help finding anything, or you have any questions about things, it's like, and if you would like to help join our group, you're more than welcome for that. Leave a donation, buy some cookies. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a bake sale up there. And so we're a really fun group that wants to not necessarily preserve history, but remember the people that came before us, that paved the way for us, so we can have the life we have. Could you imagine? I've heard of, okay, let me tell you the story. Let me sit down a second. Okay, so my buddy, Rolly Happy, he comes in at work, and so he was telling me, Rolly of course is a little bit older than me, that he used to, at one time, he used to dig graves by hand. And so he dug for 8 cemeteries or something like that around here. So let's hope they don't have a flu or something like that, because then Rolly would really be busy. But so then he told me he got a backhoe, so then he could dig graves faster. And so he actually has a contract to dig quite a few of the cemeteries that are in this area. So most likely Rolly has dug a lot of these graves. And it's like, so as you're looking at that, you have to remember Rolly's life, that this was his career, and how he, you know, did his part to help bring closure between life and the afterlife, or the passing of a loved one. And it's just, there's just so much history here. And so you just sit around and you just go, oh my God, we're all born, we all live, we all die. It's all our choices on what you do in between. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to have some more adventures. So this is just one of them. You can look for, I need to just put that up on YouTube too, the opening of the cornerstone. I did that. and so that would be with my history seekers. So we're putting that back. So we got to figure out what we're going to put in there and then put it back in the wall. So I have all kinds of pictures from what was in the cornerstone, and it's been a lot of fun videotaping, you know, a few things. So I need to go out and I need to talk to some more people. So if you know of anybody fun to talk to, just let me know. And you know, do you think I'm gonna remember her name? Oh well. I will see you again. And thanks for coming to the cemetery with me, and I hope to see you on the 7th, and it'll be fun. There'll be lots of people out here, and we got a couple more months, do a little bit more homework. Okay, see you again. Okay, bye-bye.